Hello and welcome to Chess with Simon. I'm Simon. So I just played knight f3 in this position. Queen c2 is a little more maximalist here, but knight f3 is a good move, and I was hoping for a transposition into the Queen's Indian, and my opponent had pre-moved e6. So that's all very nice, isn't it? So it looks like that's heading for a Queen's Indian or something, or a kind of Nimzo maybe. Depends where the bishop lands. This one, I've got a cunning and subtle plan, and I'm not going to talk too much about it so we don't spoil the game. But do we do rook a1? Or do we... I've got second thoughts now. Alright, we'll do rook a1. You know, genius at work, right? Yeah, we'll do rook a1. We'll do rook a1. That's final. I never doubted that idea. I think we're going to move the king to h2 here, as it's virtually the only move that doesn't completely lose. I mean, please say in the comments if you think I'm completely losing. In fact, don't. Ooh. Okay, so thank you for the pre-move. So you've got to believe it's going to go takes, takes, takes. And that's bad for white. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be though. I mean, I'm making this up as I go along, but don't we all make everything up as we go along? I mean, don't get me wrong. Black's winning this, but it's not entirely over, I wouldn't say. Is my next move virtually forced? Have I got to take that? It's virtually forced, isn't it? I think I've virtually got to take that. But let's think about it, because that's the spirit, right? Here I think I'm going to take the rook, and I'm assuming I'm going to take this pawn afterwards. So here, takes rook. And then if the queen takes, when the queen takes, I assume the queen takes the pawn. I think. Let's see. This is the game against Stuart. I have a good think about this. I'm going to play e5 here, and the reason is because now the rook has gone there, it looks more like black might have wasted a tempo. It's a committal move, right? And there are a lot of issues with e5, but I sort of see an analogy with the Meron and the Semi-Slav. I don't know if I'm talking nonsense or not, but I'm claiming that I do. So I'm going to play. I've also got some tricks, none of which Stuart will fall for. He's too good. This one, I don't really like this king h8 move. But then again, black's probably winning, so maybe I should just keep my thoughts to myself. Although it's very hard to keep your thoughts to yourself when you're doing a YouTube video. And it's not really in the spirit of the exercise. I don't know. I mean, it's something of a relief to see king h8. I don't know what I would have recommended instead. The obvious thing to look at is this. Well, am I giving things away here? This, then the rook's hanging, but black's got this. So, instead of that, why don't I prepare it by playing this, and then the pawn hangs at the end? I'm sure my opponent's not watching this game, not watching this video. I mean, he's got better things to do, right? Okay, this one, Liam's taken. I've got that sinking feeling. So if I take this pawn, is this an absolute catastrophe? If I take this pawn here, it's mate there, isn't it? Which is bad. Well, it's good for white, but it's bad for black. So if I take this way, What happens then? I mean, I survive for at least one more move by the look of it. But I'm not delighted with the situation, to say the least. Is there anything you can do instead of taking back? You can take the bishop on e3 with check, queen takes, but then the knight's hanging. I think you just got to take it with the pawn. But I may be missing something. I mean, just for clarity, white hasn't got moves like this because the bishop's pinned. I can't see that I'm losing on the spot, but I think I might be losing off the spot, on a different spot. Well played so far, Liam. Horde coach. Takes back. I like black's position. For now. This. I haven't thought about this. Takes here. Hits the queen. Keeps the A file closed. I don't know. Horde's such a difficult game. This is a good move, I think. Putting the rook here. Should we swap a pair of rooks? I mean, should we start swapping things off? So we swap a pair of rooks. Then if we do this? Is there a check here, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this? It's a bit artificial, isn't it? It feels a bit inaccurate. Maybe we just try to, okay, maybe we just stop the rook penetrating and we just try to hold the position. I'm not very proud of this. Well, you know, holding endgames is important. We'll see what happens. Let's not be too down on it. Okay, did I do something weird there? Did that all work? I think that all worked. Okay, this one. Should we try and pinch that bishop out of the fianchetto? Give me something to do, won't it? This is Gary. I've not looked at this at all. Gary and I have been swapping notes on whether it's a good idea to play loads and loads of bullet, and I think we've decided it isn't. Well, I'm going to bring that knight back to a permanent home. To a nice home, and then I assume that black will fight for the c-file, and I'll give it up. Do I want to give up the c-file? Maybe you play queen d2, just anticipating the rook coming to the c-file. Maybe you play bishop h6. Maybe we play queen d2. Anticipating the rook coming to the c-file. That's alright. White's kind of harmonious, somewhat harmonious. Bishop here pestering my rook. Okay, my rook's going to get its own back and pester the bishop. I think that's alright. The big move is taking an f5, but unfortunately I'm not getting a free breath with which to take it. Back here, but I think there's more games to play. I'm sure there's more games to play because you just instinctively feel it. And also this. Nigel's still thinking. Mark, Liam, Gareth, Sidewinder. This is what we expected, isn't it? f6. f6. Wins the pawn back, I think. Such a hard game, chess. I haven't really checked that. This one's Justin. Are we out of book? Oh, we're not out of book. D takes e4. I mean, you would have guessed that, wouldn't you? You would have guessed that because if you just move the knight, then black takes on d3 with a better position. I mean, probably, winning. All right, we'll just take. There'll be a bunch of exchanges, I imagine. Ian Bush. I mean, aren't I playing bishop g2 here? Once you've announced... Ian says he thinks this is a pretty decent line for white. One of his books, Perk Alert, said this is a good line for white. Ian's an expert in the Perk. And the Benoni. And there's white things like the Austrian attack. Okay, that's nice though. I like that. Harmonious. Modest. Oh, I wonder if it's just programmed in all the moves to checkmate. I wonder if we just play everything on auto. It's a fascinating thing. It's very impressive. This knight's going on a trip to the b6 square. I've not seen this before. Well, we can allow it probably and just, move the rook. As long as it doesn't take up residence on the b6 square. I don't think I'm too upset about that. These things happen. This is the Petrov, isn't it? Isn't it? Bishop e7. I mean, the bishop's got to go to e7. And the bishop's got to be developed. I'm sure you can play knight c6 as well, but bishop e7 is the main line. Ian will have programmed in. What will he have programmed in? I don't know. I mean, let's find out. That's half the fun. He didn't program in. Ian did not program in. My world is shifting on its axis. Nothing makes sense anymore. Are those all the games? They're not, are they? Are they all the games? I played 17. Oh no. I lost a game of Horde tonight. It was against a really good player, but anyway. Okay. Waiting for Gareth. I think we're waiting for everyone. I think we've got everyone. Have we? Next. Okay. Horde coach has just made a couple of moves. This. D5, which doesn't particularly scare me. And something else. Took back with the queen, which doesn't surprise me. Alright, well, I need to think about that, don't I? I need to think about a lot of things. A lot of thinking here. That's kind of the way chess works. Should we do a tactics problem? No, we won't do a tactics problem. What we're going to do is we're going to log into chess.com, look at those games, and when we've done the chess.com games, we might end with a tactics problem. This one, I asked last time how black wins a pawn here, and I'm sure everyone saw it. Takes there, isn't that pretty? It's a as Magnus Carlsen would say, it's a well-known mechanism. Take back, you lose the rook at the back. I mean, white might well take back. It's just a swap of rooks. And actually, black might hoover across. So, taking back might be the best move. I've got no idea, but that's what I'm doing, and I'm pleased with it because my strategy for flank development has worked. Look, the rooks come out, create weaknesses, double, and then collect. As Peter Lecco would say, and lots of people say, collect. Okay, this one I think we're also collecting. Takes, has to take, and this is with check. That's the whole point. Otherwise, this put, and then you've got to move the pawn, and then I think you're claiming a better, close to winning position. Not winning, better position. This one, can't we play h4? No idea how good that is, but maybe No, I don't think white takes h4, because then you play rook g4 and you pick up one of the pawns. Sea Island Puffin. It's important not to get intimidated by someone's grade. Should we push here to weaken the pawn structure? I don't know. Maybe it does weaken the pawn structure. Maybe it gives white a bit more to think about, because white's got a decision to make now with that pawn. I actually quite like that. It's not easy, because you either put the rook behind it, in which case maybe I double, or you move it forward, in which case it is kind of a weakening. This, we double and then play a4, or we play a5. We play a5 and then double. We double and play a5. I don't know. It's 27 hours away. Should we skip it, because he's quite a strong player? We'll think about it. This is 20. I don't no idea what to do here. Well, I've got some idea. Knight c5 probably. Knight c5 probably. But I'm not sure about knight c5. Struggling with this too. Not really struggling with this. I think you're going to have to end up taking the knight, but should we just have the guts to take it? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. And you shouldn't do things you're not sure about, should you? Okay. This one. This rook sacrifice I declined. I think you got to take the bishop back. You can't take the rook because the pawn's pinned. This pawn's being attacked. You've got to take. And we take. Is it a book? We think we take with the h pawn, don't we? Oh, it's new. No. This is known opening. It doesn't matter. I think you take with the h pawn. We take with the h pawn, so we're still attacking the rook. And that's quite cute. And then we castle when the rook runs. And then we say we're doing all right. We're pretty solid. Pretty solid. This one, bring the bishop across. Prepare to collect. I'm collecting something there. I think this one we're in pretty good shape. And we're a couple of pieces up. Okay. You've got to watch the queen check, haven't you, a bit? I don't think the queen check's a big problem. I don't know, I don't think it's not great developing this, is it? Okay, we'll try and do better developing. Just castle. Actually, the queen check's more dangerous here. The issue is, after developing, the queen check is actually somewhat unpleasant. Look at that. Yeah, that's actually a problem. Okay, so why don't we do that instead? Hit the rook. Yeah, that's not a bad move. There's no real threats there. I mean, white doesn't have any threats. This is Josh up the road. Pin the bishop, pin the knight, bishop g5. I've got 2 days to think about it. I've got 3 days to think about it. I'm a queen up. I've done that already. There was one thing I wanted to go back to, actually. Oh, is my opponent taken back? One thing I wanted to go back to is that I was lucky enough to win a game on time against Tom Shepherd. I trained the county team when Tom played on it, and these days, well, let's see what I think. Actually, my result against Tom isn't too bad. I think we're We've not done, but let me see what my result is against Tom. I can't work it out. My record against Tom's all right, I think. I think we're pretty even. He might be slightly better. He might be slightly better. He's played 10,000 games. Good lad. Okay, so he was unlucky enough to lose on time here. When we analyse with the engine now, what we see is very simple, which is that it's a decent opening from white, as I expected. Pretty offbeat, never seen it before. Although I've seen him roughly playing it against someone else. We're equal here. Actually, black's a bit better. And the weird mistake was, here, no. They want you to play bishop e6 here. Or queen a5. I see the point of queen a5. Bishop e6, queen a5. Don't like this. Although, changing its mind. Now, it wants us to take on f3. Doesn't like the idea of developing the knight, because I think the idea was to take back with the knight on c6, so now pawn takes, whereas with the knight on b8, you could take on c6. That was the point. So, the engine believes that we predicted this, didn't we? I don't think Tom made these moves. I think these are engine moves, but the engine has white a little better here, which I understand. Okay, so I think we've done all of these. So what we always do is we always end with a tactics puzzle, don't we? And last night we got two beauties. I mean, it's only 2:30 in the morning. There's always time for a tactics puzzle. Okay, let's take a look, party people. My rook's attacked. What happens if we take on f3? Take on f3. Take on f3. If the queen takes, there's a check on d4 which wins the bishop. And we don't get mated at the end. If the rook takes, isn't bishop d5 a really good move? Oh, I think we take on f3. But it's not like I've thought it through. What else could I do? So we just take on f3 and trust. Not true. Bad move. Should we try again? Try again. Hit the queen. Ah! Okay. And a queen moves. Now what? Take the knight. This is often what happens, isn't it? Which is you sort of... Okay, try again. Take this way. You often get the right concept. I mean, it took me 3 tries. So not taking here because of the check here, I think. So now the bishop can just go somewhere safe, but where? Where's a safe place for this bishop? Or is there something else that works better? Where would you put the bishop? I think there's a lot of squares. You defend it with a knight. Is that the point? Do you defend it with a knight? No. Let's have a look. Oh, I think something weird's happened there. I'm totally confused. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to give up. We're going to go into this. We're going to go back. We're going to... Is there a way? I know there's a way that you can look at what you did and actually okay, I'm just mind-bogglingly confused. There's a way you can look at the puzzles you did and we can go back I think we roughly got the answer. Let's just do one more to cheer ourselves up. This one. Black's move. Black's move. Check here. Looks like it's winning a rook, but you can put the rook in the way, but we can take it. Check here looks like it's winning a bishop. What would you do? I think the whole bishop's better, isn't it? And then the claim is that we're winning because we've got pawns on the other side. Check here. King goes there. Takes the rook, king takes, and then you hit the knight. Oh, I'm going to do this. Take the rook. Go here. Go there. There we go. That was fun, wasn't it? I enjoyed that. Let's end on a high note. I hope you're all well, and I'll see you all soon.